So, what is a limited company? Well, I'm glad you asked, but there isn't exactly a straightforward one-size-fits-all answer. And that's because there's actually 4 different types of limited companies. To start us off though, you can generally think of a limited company as a legal entity in its own right, which basically means it's separate or legally distinct from its owners. Unlike a sole trader, for example, where there's no legal distinction between them and their business. So what are the types of limited companies? Well, there's a private company limited by shares, a public limited company, a private company limited by guarantee, and less common, an unlimited company. We know all of this can be a little overwhelming, but don't worry, most people typically choose between a private limited company, LTD, and a public limited company, PLC. Now let's talk about what each of them means. A private limited company is the most common type of structure for new companies. It's owned by shareholders who each hold a share in the business. The owners can't be held personally liable for any company debts or issues that arise, or at least the extent to which they can be held liable is limited. No pun intended. To put it simply, if you are a shareholder, your liability is based on the proportion of shares you own, which means your personal assets such as your home are generally protected. A public limited company, on the other hand, is broadly similar to an LTD, but the shares are publicly available to purchase and can be traded on the stock exchange, unlike a private company where the shares can only be sold in private. The company's shares can still be used as a way to attract investors and raise money for the business though. But it really depends whether you would be comfortable with anyone buying shares in your business. Now the differences don't stop there. You also need to think about the number of people in your business. For instance, a PLC requires a secretary and at least 2 directors. Don't panic if there's only 2 of you, one of you can be the secretary. LTDs are a lot simpler. All you need is at least 1 director and shareholder, and these can even be the same person. It's important to note that a public limited company must submit its accounts within 6 months of the end of its accounting year, whereas it's 9 months for a private limited company. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our videos, and give us a like, and if you have any questions, leave us a comment down below.